Hello, I'm Zade, and this is Zade is Okay. My first time doing this in front of camera style. I did Zade is Okay just over a year ago. That was it's basically this. It was basically a short podcast where I was answering questions that people were giving me, and I wanted to try that out. I've been reading this book, 12 Weeks, the 12-week year, and since I started reading that book, part of it was saying like you need to set a goal and you need to be consistent with it, and I want to do more stuff that doesn't rely on having to work for other people. Not that I'm going to quit or anything. You know what? Let me just go back around. For context, I'm a video editor, and I do video editing and VFX for like a bunch of YouTube channels. And it hit me recently that I'm kind of capped there. Like the ceiling for what I can do creatively just through working for other people is always going to be what I can do for them. And I love my job, don't get me wrong. I'm very, very lucky, and I hope I can keep doing it for years, honestly. But I've also had a bunch of other creative stuff that I wanted to do, but then I start an idea, then I stop it, then I start it again, and then I stop it, and then, the cycle kind of just continues. But since reading this book and setting actual goals, I've been like, okay, like this is one of my goals is I'm not necessarily like focused on starting a podcast, This is more like a personal journal diary type thing where I can say no matter what, if I don't do something creative on my Instagram or on TikTok or on my YouTube channel or with the Zaniel show or whatever, then at least I've posted the podcast episode that week. And I feel like that's like a good baseline where it's semi low lift. I try to talk for about an hour. And I can talk about whatever I want, and then the editing is also a lot easier. So yeah, that's what this is. I'm going to be answering questions, maybe not this week because I didn't super prepare. This is more going to be a catch up because I feel like I'm mentally going through it right now. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So welcome, first of all. Thanks for being here if you're watching. I am in my bed. I was going to film in my living room, but I do have a roommate, and I didn't want to just be in the middle of the living room taking up that space because our living room is also an office, and I didn't want to turn that into just like this studio thing with like a light setup or whatever. So I'm in my room. Maybe I'll move next week, but for now, this is where I'm at. And my room is not it's not really, my room is a glorified storage closet right now. I'll maybe take a picture and put it up right now, but I've got like my girlfriend's couch over here, like one of the pieces from her 4-piece couch just in the corner. I have the set stuff from the Zaniel show, which if you're not familiar with, you should definitely watch that. I'll link in the description, but it is like a chaotic, kind of insane, improvised interview show similar to Eric Andre, if you've watched that. And so yeah, I've got all the set pieces. There's a couch over there, there's another chair over there, there's a desk table thing, there's a printer, and then there's like some workout stuff over there. And right now my my laundry basket, I used to use a big what's it called, not a classic shopping bag, but like one of those big, I don't know what you call them, I don't really see them much in the US. I'm from Scotland, for context. Oh, you don't have an accent. It's because I watched a lot of Disney Channel growing up. Oh, that doesn't make sense. I don't know what else I can tell you after that. I have that, and this is no shade to people that ask me that, but when I tell you why my voice sounds like this, and the follow-up is that's not true, I just, at that point, what could I say? But anyway, I wish I had a picture of it, but it's just this like big bag thing that you can put shopping in, but it's not made of like paper or plastic. It's this weird, like, do you know what I'm talking about? I'll put a picture up. It's like this fabric-y material, kind of woven. Anyway, I used to use that as my laundry basket. and that broke, unfortunately. So now I use my new computer's box, the case box. I'll put a picture of that too. It's just a big. Okay, sorry about that audio. You know what? I'm learning. This is part of the learning process for doing podcasts. I guess sometimes they have a studio guy or producer to help them. But anyway, I have a box that says 3,500 on it. That just has my clothes in it right now. That's my dirty box until I guess it breaks. You know, unfortunately, and this has been described as my red flag both by my girlfriend and past I don't know, friends or relationships or whatever, that I am very how do I word it, tight with money. The best way I could describe it is when if I'm parking, like I'm going to a restaurant or somewhere, if I'm parking, I'd rather walk 20 minutes from where I parked than pay 25 cents for the parking meter. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Paying for parking, I think is crazy. But yeah, that's just like an example of how I do not spend money. So I was like on Amazon, I was like, damn, they charge like $10-$20, sometimes like $50 for these laundry baskets, and I'm like, I have a box, like I might as well use it, right? Like, what else am I going to use it for? If that's bad, I don't know if there's some like science behind with a box, like the clothes, the smell of like dirty laundry will like seep into the box. I don't know, maybe you weren't thinking about that and I put it in your head, but I can say what I want, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, so at the start I said I was kind of going insane mentally, and the reason for that is part of my job, the pro and con, is that I'm just deadline based. So I don't technically work like a 9 to 5, but I have like for one of the people I work with, we upload Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So I need to have that video ready by Monday for the Tuesday one, by Wednesday for the Thursday one, and then ideally by Friday, maybe Saturday for the Sunday one. And I also work for other clients, and one of them is posts every Saturday, but they have 2 editors. So I'm kind of like a secondary editor, I guess, backup editor. I don't know. But yeah, I usually take like 1 video a month, probably on average for them. And it's super fun. Like, it's a client A and client B, completely different types of videos. And I love how client A's videos are definitely easier to edit because they film for a shorter time. And so I'm not like, I've been working for client A for so long now that most of it is like automatic in my head. Like, I know what to do. Whereas client B, I think every video I've done now has been drastically different from the last one. Like, I did a reaction type video, I did a vlog type video, I did a right now I'm doing like a cooking type video, and so each one is different, and they are significantly harder. Like, the raw footage can go from like 2 hours to like 4 hours 30 or something, with like multicam, which is like multiple POVs. So there's like a wide cam, a close up, a steady cam, like for the food video, just like a food zoom in cam, stuff like that. And it's very different, takes a lot longer, much harder to edit, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun when it's fun, you know, when I have the time to do it and I'm like, I can go crazy on the edits that I want. I love that stuff. And so in the chat where I work with client B, who's doing like the longer, harder videos, they give us like a timeline. They're like, okay, does this sound good to everyone? And the deadline I had 2 videos for August. One was week 3 of August and one was week 4. And so I'm like, oh, cool. And I look at the calendar. I'm like, okay, week 4 is the 30th. Today is the 10th. And I'm like, week 4 is the 30th. And then week 3, 7 days before, is the 23rd. So I'm like, oh, I have till the 23rd to do this. And I'd also let them know that I was going to be in Austin from the 13th to the 16th. I'm visiting some friends in Austin, going to Texas for the first time. I'm excited. But yeah, so with that in mind, I was like, okay, cool. I have so much time. I'm told this in July, early July. maybe end of June. I think it was early July. Like what these dates are. I'm like, cool. I can focus on my full-time work with client A, and then with client B, I can like work on that in the background when I have time, right? And then it hits me yesterday. I'm like, cool. I'm like going through it. Everything's going great. Then I find out that I missed a message, and the message said there's 5 Saturdays in August. And so this is the updated schedule. Completely missed that message. Or I think I might have read it and saw it was just like the same text. I was like, oh, okay, so week 3. Okay, yeah, I already know this. And then yesterday, I'm like, damn, life has been really, really good lately. I'm like, it feels too good to be true. It's rare that I don't have a lot of work to do. If I finish a video for one client, suddenly another client has a different video. Like it's kind of been like that for the years I've been editing. And I like it. I like being busy, but sometimes it can get kind of overwhelming. So it was in fact too good to be true. I unfortunately have lived most of my life with if something's too good to be true, it most likely is. And that has consistently been the case almost every time. If something's like, oh, here's like a certain job for a large sum of money, it's like, whoa, that's crazy that that's all you want for this. And then it's like they don't pay me, or they pay me like 3 months later or whatever, and so I was like, damn, this feels like I have too much free time. Like I've been working on this video, I've been grinding on it. I took some Adderall as well so I could focus on it, but it feels like something's wrong. Like I'm prepped for my Austin trip. My video for client A going up Tuesday, I'm like organized to get ahead of that. And then I'm like, let me look at that message again. I look at the message. I see there's 5 weeks in August, which means my video that I thought was due on the 23rd is actually due on the 16th, which is 6 days from now. And then I find out that the other video I thought was due on the 30th is due on the 23rd. So now I have 2 weeks to finish 2 videos where the raw footage total was like across both of them is like 6.5 hours. And so I have been locked in today. I can't remember what time. I went to sleep at maybe like 2 a.m. Working on this, and I woke up at like 9 a.m. to work on this again. And I'm loving it. I'm loving doing the video, but I'm in the cutting stage, which for me is the worst stage. I hate cutting. I wish if there was like, and I know the whole like AI situation with like taking jobs and stuff, the way that there's like AI auto subtitlers, like that does the tedious stuff. If there was a way that AI could like see in my mind how I want something to be cut and cut it so that I don't have to do the, just like even like muting the mics when someone's not talking. And I know not everyone does this. Like you don't have to do it. I know there's a lot of YouTube channels where it's like they're both talking, you just let it play. It's like there's a slight echo, but it's not enough to be a problem. I feel so OCD about stuff like that, where I'm like, if I can notice it or I can see it, then it's a problem for me. So I need to fix it. And I think it makes me take longer for my videos, but I also feel like it's made me a better editor because of that. But anyway, so because of that, I have been super focused on trying to get the cut done. And I've been like doing some VFX in between just because I'm like, cutting this is boring. The video itself is great. But cutting is just like I'm sitting there playing something, go back, cut, switch the camera, mute the audio, play again. And I'm doing that every like 5-10 seconds. So I did some VFX stuff that like makes it fun. But now that I know I have between now and Austin is 3 days. So I need to have this, at least a draft done in 3 days. Now I've got to take my laptop to Austin if I'm working in Austin to do the last, any notes that they have so that it can be uploaded on time. And I'm like, damn, I really hope I can do it, and I know I will. I always do. That's the thing, is like, I don't know the last time that I've missed a deadline by my own means. I've missed 2 deadlines before that I can remember. One, because my Wi-Fi died, and 2, because my computer died. And again, in both of those situations, there was almost nothing I could do. It was just like, here's the deadline, you got to get it done. I do it a day in advance, and then as it's uploading or as I'm rendering, it just shuts down and there's nothing I can do. And so I always find a way to get it done, even if it means like staying up working till 6 a.m. I've just always been in that mentality where it's like, this person is paying me to do this thing, and I've agreed to the job, and now everything that comes with that is part of the job, you know, whether it means staying up late, whether it means missing, like, hang out with friends sometimes, whatever. I've always just been like, you know, it's hard because saying it out loud, it sounds kind of crazy, but I've always thought, like, my friends love me and, you know, care for me, and I can hang out with them whenever, but this one video is due tomorrow, right? For example. So I now need to, like, the sacrifice is, like, we were going to watch a movie tonight, but I need to get this video done. We can watch the movie tomorrow. The video has to be uploaded tomorrow, you know? Like, they're kind of like on different kind of almost levels. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's definitely something that, you know, therapy's in good conversations with. You know, I actually had a really good therapist for a while. Great guy, great therapist. I miss him, and I'm almost upset that I had him because I've looked for a therapist since. My only issue is he was expensive, and I feel like he wasn't expensive in the, like, grand scheme of therapy. It was like, I think it was like I'm about to, like, out how much I don't want to spend on things, but I think it was like 180 per session or 200. I think I went in with 200 per session. And then I spoke to him, and I was like, I don't know if I can continue this, because, like, I had a set saving set up where, like, no matter what, my money would be split 3 ways every month when the paycheck comes through. So, like, it was almost automatic. And then I looked at my bank account. I was like, whoa, I'm down a lot of money. What's going on? Did someone take my credit card? Am I eating out too much this month? Like, what's going on? And then I realized that it was the therapy bill. And I was like, oh, damn, that's, like, I didn't put into perspective how much money I was spending on it. But for 4 sessions, it was, I guess, $800 a month. And I was like, oh, that's a lot. And I spoke to him about it, and he was really, again, great therapist, great guy. He's like, my priority is helping you. And if the money prevents that, then, like, we can work out something. So then we went down to 180. I was like, okay, this is good. This is better. And it was great. And he's a great guy. It, like, felt like I was talking to a friend that I could really trust. And he gave good advice, both reassuring and letting me know when something I was thinking or saying just didn't make sense or didn't line up, or, like, offering alternate perspectives and things like that. And, you know, it was amazing. And then some stuff happened with work. And so I lost a lot of money. I say I lost money. I didn't make the money that I was expected to make, because work kind of slowed down for a while. And because of that, I was like, I can't afford this anymore. Like, I can't. Worst case scenario, if work doesn't come back, then I need to have this money in my savings to, like, live off, you know, in America, because I'm in California as well. And LA is not cheap at all. If it's anything, it's not cheap, which sucks. I mean, it's not like it's known for being cheap. I guess I say that and it's like, duh. But coming from Scotland to moving here, the difference is, like, astonishing. And, like, in food, like, yesterday we went to watch Jurassic Park live at the Hollywood Bowl. My girlfriend got, like, free tickets I say free. She did, like, promotional work for the Hollywood Bowl, and it was like a payment was a bunch of shows. So anyway, we went to watch that, and on the way we were stopping by a McDonald's. And I'm trying to, like, save money on eating out, so I wasn't planning to get anything, but I was like, you know what, if I see something on the menu, maybe I'll get something, since we're all driving through, the 4 of us. It was me, my girlfriend, my roommate, and one of my friends, Rush. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, if we're going through, I'll grab something. We go to the McDonald's, and my girlfriend puts, like, the McDonald's app code or whatever and gets a free thing. She's like, oh, okay, cool, this is free, let me get some fries on the side. Medium fries. Guess how much it was? Guess. Like, right now, you don't have to leave a comment or whatever, but just, like, in your head, guess how much medium fries is right now. I don't know if there's any McDonald's fiends out there that are watching and are like, I know how much just spoiled it, but it's $5. But they're like, I know how much fries are. $5 for a medium fries. $5. I remember when you could get was it medium or small fries that you could get for like 99p in the UK, which would be like $1.29 or something. Crazy. And I saw that and I was like, okay, no, I'm not paying $5 for a total of 30 unsalted fries from McDonald's. No, I'm not fighting that hard for it. But that's just like an example of how expensive LA is. And, you know, that's McDonald's as a whole is getting more expensive. But taking into account like my rent, my gas, etc. out here, it was too much money for me to be spending and not saving anything. So therapy was one of the things to go. And I didn't have healthcare. But then my therapist was telling me like, oh, you know, a lot of healthcare can be covered, can cover like therapy. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I didn't really have a reason to go for healthcare since I'm young. I can't remember the last time I went to a hospital of any kind. Like even back in the UK, I can't remember the last time I went to a hospital. I really wasn't worried about getting hurt. But last time I went to visit in the UK, I was talking to one of my friends and they were like, oh yeah, like we had a friend that went to the US just for like a week trip or whatever, and they got injured, broke a leg or something, and it was like $30,000 for them to get it fixed because they didn't have insurance. And I was like, okay, I do not have $30,000 just free that I could drop if something were to go wrong. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to take that risk, but I didn't have like a reason. But then when he told me that therapy can be covered, I was like, oh, boom, there's my reason, right? I'll sign up for healthcare through work and I'll set it all up and then I can get therapy with you for free. And I sign up. I chose the wrong one. I think in the US there's two types. I can't remember what it was. No, not PCP. That's like a drug. HMC. I don't know. It was HMO. HMO and PPO. That's what it was. It was HMO and PPO. One of them apparently is like it's cheaper, but it's worse because you don't get control of something. And then the other one is more expensive, but you have more personal control. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, oh, this one's cheaper. And it looks like it has most things that I need. Like I can go to a doctor and get money off. So I'll just do this one. And that was not covered. And I was just like, damn, that sucks. And I have not seen that therapist since. And I wish I could. But then I started looking for other therapists and none of them hit. Like I didn't meet them in person, to be fair. I probably should. That's like a better thing to do. But I was looking at on the website that I was looking at, I think it was like therapy.com or something. And they could upload like an iPhone video or whatever promo video showing what they like what they're about or like telling us about themselves. And it had to be like 10 seconds long, no longer or something. And the way I found my therapist is one, he looked like Joe Goldberg from You, which I thought was awesome. I was like, that's crazy. Like if I die to this guy, that would be nuts. Like the guy that looks like the guy from You killed me. Weird way to get into therapy. But the main reason I picked him was because on his video, he did a thing where he was just like, hey, yeah, 10 seconds is way too short. I don't know how they think this is going to work or tell anyone about them. You should email me instead. And I saw that and I was like, that's so funny. That's so straight to the point. It's so honest. It's so like cool. And especially when all the other ones were corporate, like, hello, my name is Christopher Henson. I will help you. Call me now. Like that stuff, it just freaked me out a little bit. So I was like, I want to go with this guy. And that's how I found him. So now when I'm looking for therapists, I feel like he set a bar way too high where now I'm looking for that kind of like natural charm and like kind of vibe that I get just from your video. And so when someone doesn't have a video, I basically ignore them as an option. And then someone that does have a video, like 4 of them are the same corporate ass, like, especially as an editor, I'm seeing it and I'm like, this is just a template. Like whoever edited this, like set up a template with the same animation text, the same like casual B-roll of some random therapy room. And it's the exact same video for multiple. And I was like, damn, like none of them have that charm. Like, am I ever going to find a therapist? And then I realized because of the healthcare that I have, the therapist options are all through like 2 companies or something that are covered by that healthcare, which is probably why they use the same video. It's all the same company just hiring different people. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I probably will eventually just like bite the bullet and just, you know, at least try one and see if they're good. But man, I just miss that guy. It feels like a breakup, you know. It feels like I had a great relationship. I had someone that I trusted and I love to talk to, and then I lost him, and it was my own fault. It was just like the money. Like I didn't have the money to pay him what he deserved for his time, and he was so kind too. He was like offering other deals and making it cheaper, and I was like, I feel bad owing anyone anything of any kind, like food, money, whatever. Like if you buy something for me, immediately I'm like panicking, like, okay, how do I make this up to them? Or if we're like at a dinner and like someone's like, oh, put it on my card, you guys just Zelle me or Cash at me, whatever. Before we leave that dinner table, I'm sending that money, because if not, that's gonna be haunting me for the next week. If I get a message that says, hey, not sure if you remember, but you still owe me $10 from that. I just get so embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like something must have gone wrong for me to have forgotten to send it. Right. Like that happened to me once where, we went out to eat with one of my friends, and, they put it on their card, and I was like, cool, I'll just send you the money. And then they texted me a week or 2 weeks later, and they're like, hey, you didn't send me the money. Cause this was a lot of money, cause I was paying for me and my girlfriend. So 2 full meals. At like a cocktail bar. I didn't drink, but my girlfriend enjoys a cocktail. So yeah, and I was like, yeah, like I'm so sorry. Like something must have gone wrong for this to happen. And then I remember there was no Wi-Fi in the building. I tried to send it, and there was no signal or Wi-Fi, so it didn't go through. And so I would have said like, I'll send it to you later, and then I forgot to do it. But yeah, that's just like I hate owing people things. So him saying like he could lower the price down to like $150 or whatever, I was just like, one, that's still $600 a month, which again, for therapy, great deal. I bet like it's amazing, and it was a great guy. I still feel like one day I'll go back to him, but for me it felt like I am saying that you are worth $50 less than what you are, because I'm cutting down the price now. Like it felt like I had to make it up to him somehow. As a therapist. But it didn't work out, but I hope one day it will. And if you're watching this, I miss you. Joe from you. I miss you, man. Yeah. Wow. This is fun. This is really fun. What's crazy? The best part about this is that it feels like there's no pressure for me to talk about anything. Like I can just be silent for a few, because like the people that have made it this far or will make it this far are like, I guess, locked in, and thank you. But for my first one, this is just like, this is kind of fun. I get why people do podcasts. I get why they do it. Like even if this gets like 30 views, it's like, damn, 30 random people decided to watch this, and I'm just talking. There's no profit in mind. There's no gain in mind. This is just kind of fun. And I made something. I can say I made something at the end of the week. Wow. Damn, that's awesome. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about, I'm trying to think some of the questions that I had. Maybe I can pull them up. I had a bunch of questions from the last, what's that thing called? Zade is okay stuff that I was doing. Where people would often send like editing questions of some kind or stuff like that. So I'm curious if I can find some of those. Okay, I finally found the Google Forms thing. And one of the questions is, yo Zade, can you share more about your editing workflow, especially the beginning, from syncing to cutting, etc., etc. First of all, thanks for the question. If you want to leave a question, I'll have the form link in the description below. But my editing process is dependent on the type of video. I'd say client A being mostly reaction videos. Now I actually have pre-cutters that help me, which has been a game changer. So I guess the process is I get a message saying, hey, I just filmed this thing. I'll get the drive link for that video. I'll send it to the pre-cutter channel, and I'll assign it to one of the pre-cutters. We have like, I guess like four pre-cutters kind of, and then a few like back-end options for pre-cutters. But yeah, I'll assign it to someone. I'll be like, hey, let's say Justin, are you available to pre-cut this video? And then they'll say yes or no, and then I'll give them a deadline. And then when the video has been pre-cut, I get the project file with the footage. And the pre-cut is basically all of the silences cut out, switching from the reaction of the video to the full screen and things like that, all like set up for me, because I used to do that each time. But as videos get longer and as we're uploading more videos and I'm working for more people, there's just not the time to do that and have the same like output that we're looking for, because we want high quality consistently without fail. And so pre-cutters have like really helped with being able to do that. And so they pre-cut the video, they set it up for me. I then go into it and I'm adding all of the zooms, effects, sound, music, and redoing the pacing and timing, because everyone has their own kind of like style for editing, especially when it comes to cutting. And I'm like very finicky about like pacing and timing with things, and so that like I still need to adjust that, but the pre-cut helps so much. Anyway, so now I have the pre-cut of the video. That's a project file with everything organized for me. I start with the intro. Sometimes they do a bit in the intro. Sometimes they don't. I try to think of one. Sometimes there's just not space for one. Like you don't want to force in edits that don't necessarily exist. But I add the intro music. I almost always use the same one unless there's a specific theme that I'm going for, whether it's like it's sad or it's like he's trying to sound smart or something. Then I'll add like classical, thoughtful music, whatever. And then I go through and the way I add zooms is actually using an adjustment layer. And I showed this to one of my friends that's an editor, and he was like, your timeline looks insane, but not in like a whoa, it's insane that you did like that you can do this kind of way, and like why would you do this kind of way, insane. Because I make one adjustment layer, I add a slow zoom asset that I made, or preset that I made, that like automatically zooms in the camera, and I just copy paste the adjustment layer whenever I need it. The way I used to do it, where I'd like make an adjustment layer each time, apply the effect, or I'd apply the effect to the clip, but then later if I want to change it I can. And if there's a cut where it's going across two clips, then it's like now I have to redo this whole thing. No, I've like solved that issue where now it's just an adjustment layer with the slow zoom, and I copy paste it in every position that I need it to. It has saved so much time. It lets me focus more on the edits, the pacing, the music, without worrying about like the little things like small zooms, which are mainly there for retention anyway. So it's like things are not always moving, but they're always moving, right? Like the camera is slowly panning in. It adds a kind of like a level of we're watching something and we're not just listening to something. There's a visual attached. But yeah, so I go through adding the zooms, and I also add edits wherever I feel it appropriate, where I think it like makes sense, or if it's funny, whether that's a gaslighting edit, which is easily my favorite type of edit in every scenario. Flashy edits and graphic edits, I think when done well are cool, whether it's done well by me or other people, I think are cool. But my favorite types of edits every single time is where I pause the video and I'm like, did I see that right? Like, was that real? Or did whoever edited this like add that in? Like, it's a face edit. And again, this doesn't land for everyone, right? Like with client B, I've done some of those edits, but I guess they weren't as subtle, I guess. So I understand why it was taken out, but like little face edits where like I'll make someone's eyes like go down a little bit, or smaller, or slightly uneven, or I'll add like freckles randomly, and like edits like that where, especially when an audience knows what something is supposed to be like, and then watching the video, they're like, oh wait, were their eyes always like that, or wait, were their eyes always green? Or am I tripping, or were they green, or whatever? Like those are so funny to me. And especially when like a comment will come up that's just like I was way too high for this, that one edit freaked me out or whatever. I think that's so funny. That's so funny to me. And yeah, I think the best edits are often the ones where like you either can't tell how they did it, or you don't notice it unless you like do a double take, right? That's just my personal take. I think subtlety trumps in your face 99% of the time. But yeah, so I go through and add those edits. I'll add music, sound effects to match, and I guess that's it in terms of process. Like, some people ask like how I come up with ideas. I genuinely don't know how to answer that besides like, I think this would be funny, and then I try it, and sometimes it is funny, and then I keep it. Sometimes it's not funny and I take it out. Sometimes it is funny and I send it and they're like, we don't like this, and I have to cut it out. Sometimes it's not funny but I leave it in and they're like, that was my favorite part, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, like it really is just like what I think is funny, and my type of humor has somehow aligned with most people that I've worked with. I worked with a few people that like great people, just we did not align in terms of like priorities, whether it was jokes or like what edits look good or whatever. Oh, this is my obnoxiously big water bottle, by the way. I I think I just saw a tweet. Was it a tweet or a comedy bit where someone was talking about how having water bottles that are like obnoxiously big that are like carried everywhere is the equivalent of like people that have a vape everywhere they go. And I feel like I fall into that category. When I don't have, it's just because the amount of times I've been thirsty and not had the water bottle by me and just wished I brought it is like, it's too many times for me not to just learn from that and then start bringing it, right? I don't know why you wouldn't at that point. The only reason it's this big is because I'm also, it's kind of counterproductive, but I'm super lazy with physical stuff. So if there is a way for me to do something once and not have to do it again, for example, fill up this water bottle only twice a day versus a smaller water bottle I'm filling up like 4 to 5 times a day, and then I'm like, I don't want to drink water anymore because I have to get up every like 15 minutes to get some. So I literally just do this so that I don't have to. I do this so I just don't have to fill up my water bottle a bunch of times. Also, it's broken. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Anyway, obnoxious water bottle aside, that's like most of my process. After that, it's render out the video, send it for notes to my producer, and then, or the producer of the channel, and then I get the notes back usually just by text, because it's I maybe like now, because I've been working with them for so long, I maybe get one note. I'd say the most notes I've had recently has been like maybe 3 notes for a video. But it's rare that I get notes now, which I'm very, I've just been honed in doing this so long that it's like, I kind of like when I do a joke and I know it won't land, I can kind of like just take that out and be aware that that's not going to land. Or like, I'll see a clip and I know it's going to get copyrighted, or I see a clip and I know it's going to get demonetized, so I can like censor it myself just in advance. It's like, I've been doing it so long that I'm like aware of these things. So yeah, it's rare that I get notes now. And so then it's uploading it to the channel, uploading it to Spotify, because you can do that. If you didn't know, you can set up your channel as a Spotify account. You can get you can monetize that Spotify account as well if you set it up as like a podcast or whatever, or like a show. But yeah, so then I send that, and then that's most of the process. If it's like for client B, it's different, because for client B, there's multicam, so like multiple camera angles, there's multiple audio layers, there's usually separate filmed intros and outros as well. So for B, it's like, it's really pushing through that cutting stage, aligning the microphones. I set markers for every part where I'm like, oh, an edit could go here, or like a meme could go here, or this would be a good idea for a bit. I set markers as I go so I don't forget the joke later. And when I go back through the markers and I laugh at something I wrote, that's when I know. I'm like, okay, this is a good one to keep. And if I go back and I'm like, I feel like that wouldn't land, or that's not worth the time it would take, or whatever, then I know that's like, okay, I'm not meant to, like, that edit should not make it. So I go through that whole thing. I usually do a color grade pass at the start too, which I know most people do it at the end, but since for this channel it's not like a ton of color grading, it's really like I really just use the Dehancer plugin, and I add a like light halation, a little bit of a like diffuser, like glow, and maybe some film grain, But that's like most of it. I just like it looking like like it's a film almost, you know. It's not really, it's like a YouTube video, but I like the idea of something I'm making being like, you know, up there. Like it's good. But yeah, so then I go through and I'm cutting through the whole video, and that's honestly the worst part is just like chugging through so much footage for hours and being like, okay, this will make it. And then when all of that is done, I go back through, and if I didn't already add music as I was going, I add music and sound effects, and I do all the edits in like one pass across. So I do one pass just like editing, just like cutting down, sometimes adding music and switching the microphone, so I mute it when someone's not talking, so that there's no echo between two people. And then on the second round, I go through and I'm adding the zooms again, similar way with an adjustment layer. I add the slow zooms and all of the like punch-in zooms and stuff like that through adjustment layers, just because I can copy paste it, I can keep it consistent, and I can just move it as I need to pretty consistently, which I really like. And then I go through adding all of the edits. When it's a multicam, a tip is duplicate the layer that you want to bring into After Effects, right click and press I think it's flatten, or no, disable the multicam and flatten it, so only the video layer of the part that you want to add the effects is like active, and then when you bring that into After Effects, it'll only bring that clip. Whereas if you bring a multicam video into After Effects, it'll bring every video inside the multicam, the full video, and it'll make your After Effects so slow. It won't pre-composite it as well for some reason, or pre-compose it, so it'll just be super slow, and just like it'll be the worst. Like, trust me, you'll be happy that you did it. And then yeah, I'll do my edits in After Effects, and any bits like gaslighting, like I have like a knife like fade into the video for this one, and like there's a recurring bit about everything being like magic or like they're witches or whatever, because like everything is so well organized that like you just ask for something and it appears. So I played around with that a lot. I had like a knife like be like come in, like fade into the screen through the person's hand, and I had like butter just appear like when as if they're summoning it, stuff like that. And you know what? Oh wait, I forget that this is my own thing, so I can talk about what I want. So I did an edit that I'm really proud of, and it's super minor. I think it was 5 seconds long, but there's an edit where they made a joke about like, I think they dropped a spoon and it hit the other person's balls, and the person was like, oh, that's so like that was heat seeking, where it's like it was like falling wherever like the heat was, like towards the balls. I don't know why. I just explained for any of you heat seeking fans, that probably was like super annoying that I just re-explained heat seeking. Anyway, I really wanted to do an edit where it was like those like thermal angles where it's like a thermal camera, like where you can see like the body heat and stuff, and I wanted it to like zoom in to just their balls and then track it, and I did that, and I can just talk about how I did. Wow, this is awesome. It doesn't need to turn into an editing podcast, but I guess it can. Like, why not? You know, people that are into editing can learn about editing, and people that aren't can hear me talk about it, I guess. If you're interested, we'll see. It can be half and half. Anyway, so the way I did that, I used a plugin called Depth Scanner, which if you don't know what a depth map is, I guess I can apply it to just this layer. So you see how it's now separated. So if I go forward, I'm now in front of the camera, like I'm further forward, and then the back of this bed is like out of depth, right? In terms of like, this is where my hand is, this is the level of where my pillow is, and this is how far back my bed frame is. So it's really just like scanning for the depth in a video, right? And it visualizes it usually in black and white, but there's an option in Depth Scanner where you can change the color map. So it'll like, you can change it to be like blues is closer to the camera, and then like greens is further away or whatever. So I put it on a setting where purple is further away, or no, reds and oranges are further away, and then purples are closer. And it looks a little bit like a heat map, right? And I set it up so that, you know, the guy is further away, so that his shows up more orange and hot. And I tracked the apron that he was wearing, I added this like green like hacker kind of grid pixel like hone in straight onto his balls, and then it follows his balls, and then I set that as a matte for the depth scanner layer. So now the depth scanner, it only shows the what's it called? It only shows the like orange hue or whatever on his balls. So it like animates in. I can play it here. Actually, no, I'm not allowed to NDA. But anyway, it animates in and it just like hones in on his balls. So it looks like his balls are super hot, and that's what was targeted. Super fast edit. Not sure how it'll be received. It's not like particularly funny, but then I added the text that was like target balls, which is kind of funny. Target balls. And so yeah, so I did that, and I was like I'm really proud of this. Like, this is an edit that like I visualized something I wanted to do. I tried to Google tutorials and I couldn't find any that were really good personally. No offense to any, the tutorials out there. I probably could make a tutorial on this, but making tutorials for things that need plugins just feels like unfair. Unless I could find a free app that lets you do the same thing that Depth Scanner does, then maybe I'd try it. But yeah, if you do want a tutorial on that and you don't care that you'd have to buy a plugin, then I guess let me know. But yeah, so I did that, and that was like fully from my own mind. I was like, this is a visual I want. How do I make that visual happen? And I'm not really like, I don't really know that much about depth scanner. Like, I accidentally clicked a button and saw it change the color, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, this is perfect, but it took a while, that was like hours of trial and error for a 5-second bit. Hours is probably a stretch, maybe an hour of trial and error. But I mean, again, for a 5-second bit, that's a lot. But that's the stuff that I love to do. Like, I just love doing that. Even like masking bits where I just like make someone invisible or whatever. Like, that stuff is just so fun to me. And when it's something, for me, watching someone do something that I don't know how to do or I wouldn't know how to do is so impressive. So I love making things up that like there aren't really tutorials for online, like there's no like direct reference. It's just, this is something that I can visualize so well in my head and I'm making it happen, But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. This has been like maybe 40 minutes. I don't know how long. I was looking for the Google Frames thing. But thank you very much for watching. This was the first one of many weeks. The goal is, I guess the goal is 8 weeks straight according to my schedule. So we have 8 weeks of these minimum. Any suggestions for how to do better? The visual, tell your friends about it. Maybe don't. I don't know. But yeah, this is Zade, and I'm doing pretty okay. Wow. Wait, this is great. I started off kind of like scared and anxious about this video I need to do, and now I just feel a lot better. Wow. Podcasts are great. Who needs therapy? I'm joking, guys. You should go to therapy. Anyway, I'm Zade, and I'm okay. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.